All right, everybody, here we go with video 3 for the Nearpod series. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, notification button. So this video is going to cover using Nearpod from the library and how to assign homework. Okay, so let's go. This is how we can get back to the search screen by clicking Nearpod. That's going to bring you to your lesson. Reports I don't use because I don't have a paid subscription, so I don't even think there's anything in there. And then the Nearpod library. I am going to open a different lesson from the last one. And let's go with let's go with the science one. Let's go with the life cycle of a butterfly, which is really a good lesson for some of those more apt students that are, you're looking at a little bit higher of a level. And then let's say, okay, I know I'm going to use this one a lot, or I'm going to use this one for an extended period of time. So I'm going to add it to my lessons. Then you'll see this green part that it's been added to your lesson. And this is how we're going to use it with a student so that the student can use their own screen. And it's a collaborative learning in that aspect. If you want, you can click right here to show in my lessons, or you can click here, which will bring you to my lessons, and then you will see it in this. Now, as you can see, I'm probably full. I've probably met my quota here. But if you want to take a lesson out and put another one in, you might just click these three dots and delete it from there. Now, it's going to always be in the library. So if you accidentally delete one and find out that you still need it, go back to the library and get it again. All right, so let's go to live participation. This is how we share with the student. So we're going to have that live participation and we're going to copy the link. It's really important that you kind of try to get your student the link as soon as possible, because I have noticed that if you wait too long, it kind of like expires and then you have to refresh, give them a new link and everything else. And then we're going to launch our Zoom meeting, and if you missed it in the last video, the best tip for using Nearpod and Zoom together is to right click in this white area and keep it on top. Because if we don't, and we click here, we lose our student and we lose our Zoom view, and that might be a little bit hard to get back. So if we right click this, it keeps it on top, and then we can go ahead on with the lesson. And then if you use WeChat with the parents, you can send the code through WeChat. You can connect on Zoom and paste it in here in the chat and send that to them, and then they're then able to click that link. When they click the link, a little screen comes up, and sometimes they get confused because it actually it asks for your full name and then it asks for a nickname. So I just tell them, just write Sally for the first box. Just write Sally and then enter. And so then they'll get that. But you do be prepared for that. It throws them off that they have to enter two names. Sometimes I have noticed that all of my students seem to be able to access it fairly well, as even the students that are in China, so it's not blocked or anything by the firewall. However, I do think that sometimes it runs slower than other times. So if it seems like it's running really slow, you can just go ahead and use the preview, which was the last video that we did. So if you didn't watch that one yet, you might want to check it out, because if they can't open it, then you're going to have to rely on that preview screen instead. Or you can also just, they don't have to click it and you can share screen here. But we're going to say the student is going to be able to enter this lesson no problem. So they have a different view from you. Okay, you have the teacher view, they have the student view. The student view is like what we saw in the other video. So you can see all the questions and you can see what they can select and everything else. The teacher view sometimes get a little bit tricky as to trying to figure out what the students are looking at. So you have a toggle button to go back and forth with. So I'll show you that as well when we get in here. Okay, as you change the screen here, it changes on the student's computer. Once they open it up, they get their name in there. You're going to see that they have this will turn to 1 or 2 or 3. If you're doing group lessons, whatever, you can do group lessons on here. The only thing that Nearpod seems to lack is that video connection. Like there's no video platform connection to it. But you'll be able to see that your students are in there. There'll be a 1 if it's 1 student, 4 if it's 4 students. You can navigate through the slides this way as well. And you as you turn the page, it changes on the student's screen. The student does not have the ability to change the screen. So what you show them is what they see. Okay. So you can go through that stuff if you want to. It depends on the level of the student for me whether or not we will. But here's what I'm talking about the teacher view. Almost every lesson starts with this "how much do you already know" question. And it's different for the student, right? They get to choose one of these, and then you will see it pop up here. But let's take a look at that student view just so you saw how to click that button. So, and then we look at this, and it takes a minute to load, and then we're going to be able to see what the student is looking at. So if you ever get to a question and you're not really sure how to walk your student through it, just click this button here up in the corner, and then you'll be able to switch back and forth from student to teacher mode, and then you can, you'll be able to guide them a little bit better. Click A if you already know everything, right? Okay, so then we can move on in this. I'm just going to show you a few things on this one. I do not approve their comments because that's a time taker, right? I have to look at it. So this we can talk about, like the different things that we can do with this. This allows the student to type. They are able to type down here. You also are able to type down here. So if they make a spelling error, you can say this is how it's spelled and have them redo it. If they make a grammar error, you can type how it's spelled. So let's say I like butterflies. You can adapt the question to be whatever you want. Whatever is, at the appropriate level for their English is fine as well. So what do you already know about butterflies? They may know something, but it might be easier to say, what can a butterfly do? A butterfly can eat, right? And every time somebody types something, a butterfly can fly. So it's like a brainstorming session. It's a vocabulary recall. It can be used for writing and grammar. You'll see the student name here instead of teacher when the student writes something. And the other really cool thing is that you can put up pictures. So here you can type a picture. It gives you some pictures. Let's use the blue morph. And then you can post that. And so if they get a little confused, they don't maybe know what a word is, you can reinforce that with a text image. Something I like to do is while they're typing maybe a word or something, when their word pops up, I'll put a picture up to go with it. Just kind of, just extra fun stuff to do, and they seem to like it. So that's a good, a little bit of an overview on how to use this. And then there's a little bit of reading, and here's a video. So I always click student play, especially because if you're doing it this way, it's not like in a live classroom, right? In a live classroom, the teacher might have the whiteboard showing the video. This isn't the same. If you use the teacher view, then the student has to come back to the Zoom screen and you have to share. But you can always watch it as the teacher. You can always go through it as well. The student can watch the video and then you can choose how to use it after. What did you see? What did it do? What actions did you see? What did it eat? Whatever, vocabulary or target language you're working on, you can address that with them. Sometimes if it's a video that, is a little bit longer and you can't, they don't really understand it because they're speaking too fast, or they just don't understand it. You can then bring them back to the Zoom screen, share your screen, and break it down bit by bit. Just kind of explain in language that they understand what's happening in that video. But make sure you share your sound if you do that, because in this it doesn't share the sound that way. Another thing that I do while I have videos going, if it's like a 1 minute video or something, I might let the student watch it, especially if it's a lesson that I do all the time, so I've seen the video a bunch of times. Then I'll go write some notes about how the class is going, right? So that's just a little time saving tip for you. So there's videos. We're going to go past that. Here's another collaborative board. Same thing. It's just asking, it's reinforcing what they saw or heard. So that's listening practice in that video. So now we've got writing, right? So we've already incorporated speaking, writing, and listening in this lesson. And another video comparing the different, stages. And all the lessons are pretty similar. So there's, how much do you know, and then, a little bit of a brainstorm, and then we get into the teaching, and then there's going to be a review. So let's dig a little deeper. Here's some reading that they might be able to do depending on their level. Like I said, this is a higher level. I would use this for a higher level ESL student. Or if I was using it for younger, I wouldn't do a lot here. I might do the simple ones. Animals grow and change. Metamorphosis, big change. And I might keep it simple for them. Okay, so this is the matching. And the matching is really cool because what it is it's the vocabulary matching to the definition. So, and I always have them speak through it. Except for, of course, butterfly and caterpillar. I have them say the word and then read the definition that goes with it, and you see the results here. If you want to see the matches as they do, click that S button in the corner and it will change that view for you eventually. And the students like this. It's good. It's speaking, it's reading, it's reinforcing vocabulary. I might let them do it a time or two, especially if they don't really get it right the first time. That's what it looks like for them. And it will tell you how many tries it takes them to make a match. So you'll see, if there's how many, there's 2, 3, 4, there's six matches. So if it takes them like 10 times, you may want to repeat the activity. Stuff like that. Here we're going to go through. Now this does not change when you change it. These change when you change it, but this does not. So you'll have to tell them, do you see on the side 1, 2, 3, 4? And then they usually see it, and you go through this, and then you say, okay, number 2, and then click it and encourage them to do that, whether you do this verbally or they read it, whatever you choose to do. Just know that they have to click on these slides on the side. Okay, here is a drag and drop. They love drag and drop. The sound on these is really, really loud. I often shut the sound off. So then they're going to drag and drop, and you can do it too because it's fun, right? Yeehaw. And they usually, tell them, beat your time. So you can just do it a couple of times just because it reinforces what you're working on, reinforces that vocabulary. And this is all the review stuff. So these science lessons are fun because there's the review here. Time to Climb is another favorite of theirs. Turn the sound off because the music is just ridiculous on it. And then I don't ask them if they want to do the Himalaya. I usually ask mountain, space, if it's, a holiday, Halloween, or underwater, and then they can choose which one. And then on their screen, they see it differently, of course. They choose an avatar, and then they enter the lesson with the avatar. And then they'll pop up on that teacher screen. Let's just take a look at how they look. So you choose a character, right? They get to choose one of these, whatever one they want. And then they start the game. Okay, and then on your screen, they'll pop up like this with their name on there. It's not going to work because we don't have a student in here and I can't play by myself. But let's take a look. I don't think I can play by myself. I can play with the student. Sometimes I've done that. And actually, I don't know how to click it. Okay, so we have to wait for the student, and then we hit Start Game. And then they have a time where, they are going to answer this question. What stage does the animal eat the most? And on their screen, they're going to see something different. Remember? they're going to see how they can choose the definition to go with the question. I don't know if it's going to work because there's no student. Oh, it does. Awesome. So this is what they see. Okay, they see this question and then they choose what and which stage. And then they'll climb up there, they'll get some points. You'll see the points pop up on there. You'll see them move up the mountain. And another question is going to pop up on the screen. And there's usually about 4 or 5 questions for them to review. And they just love this. So you can do this several times. It won't hurt. It adds some fun. It reinforces what you already learned. And then we continue on in learning. And this one, I believe, it's probably a video because you have to choose whether to allow them. Yes, so this is a video, and then they can watch the video. You can write the notes. This is a 4-minute video. It's kind of long. So this one might be one, too, that you have to go back and break down. But as you can see, this is a little bit different. This is a more in-depth. The science lessons are great. I love them. And it's 35 lessons. So you're talking a few lessons here. You're going to get a few lessons out of these. It's not going to be one time, and that's it. Okay. And these are more describe. They have to write for this one, if I remember correctly. And then they have, at the end of the science ones, they have little quizzes. And so their screen is going to look different, but I'm going to show you how to use it in the teacher screen to help guide them, okay? But in the student view, they're going to read the question, see the picture, and answer and choose one, okay? Now you don't get to see the picture in this teacher view, so that's why it's really important to know about changing back and forth so that you can, if it references a picture, you may want to see what picture it's talking about. Look at the picture. Will the stage become next in the what stage will be next? A lot of times they think of what is before when they see this, so you want to guide them, and then it gives you the answer here. You can continue through all of the questions with them. I have them read it and then and answer it. And as they do it, you'll see their answer pop up here. If it's correct, it will be green. If it's incorrect, it will be red. And you can tell them, go back and try again on number 2. And there is a little bit of a lag delay on there, just so you know, okay? And the way that I just did that is I clicked the number. You see how you click the number to come up with that. And then you can scroll through those here, close it out this way. So this is a review. This is like reviewing everything you've learned. You could probably get 3 or 4 lessons out of this. This is going to be, if there was a student in the class, you would have another box here. And you can pop out that box by clicking it like I did. And they have all those tools down in the corner that they're going to be able to write the words with the text box next to the different stages, and you will see it pop up with a little bit of a delay on the screen as they're working. So you can encourage them through that. You can't write anything here or guide them through any kind of writing, so that sometimes is a little bit difficult, but at this point they should know really well how to say egg, larvae, pupa, and butterfly, and do it fairly well. And then it just asks, how do you feel about your ability to explain it? And they usually say very confident by the time they're here. And you'll see what they've chosen. And this is the end. Oh, and this also is another one. What is the most interesting or surprising thing you've learned? And I do encourage you to ask this even of your ESL students, because they do sometimes come up with some really great ideas, and you're surprised by it. So, and that pretty much wraps it up. Usually that's the end of the lesson. So that's how to use it in a student mode. And then real quick, I know that this, is taking a long time. You can come back to the lesson. This is a little bit glitchy. Sometimes you come back right where you left off with all of their answers in there, and sometimes you don't. But so let's say you want to give them a little bit of homework on here. We're going to delete this because I don't think I have any more space in here. But then we're going to go to the Nearpod library, and we're going to look for an activity, okay? And we're going to look for an activity on the life cycle, the butterfly life cycle. And then if they really, really loved that, you can give them this, right? So open it up like this and then add to your lessons. and then so that if they want to do it for homework, you click student paste and you give them that link through chat, through WeChat, through email, through however you're communicating with them. You give them that link. It gives you an amount of time. You can change that, but you copy that and send that to them, and then they can access this on their time and practice and play and have homework, and that's how you do homework. Okay, so that's it for this video. Sorry if it got too long. One more video left other than the live teaching clips, and that is how we might use this in ESL teaching other than looking at these overviews of lessons. So I'll see you in that video. Thanks so much for watching.